Hello, everyone. Welcome to session 8 in our video series on prompt engineering in practice, powerful patterns for real world applications. Once again, I'm Professor Achin Nigam from Department of Management, BITS Pilani, Pilani campus in Rajasthan. In today's session, we are going to discuss the context manager pattern. In the previous sessions, we have moved from the foundation pattern column. We have covered persona pattern, few short patterns, and template pattern. So today, the agenda is what we will understand what context manager pattern is. Starting off, what is it is all about. The description of this pattern is that it supplies essential background information, the constraints and relevant details that frames the AI understanding of it. This pattern ensures that AI has sufficient context to generate appropriate responses that align with specific circumstances, domain knowledge, or situation requirements, preventing misinterpretations and reducing the need for clarifying exchanges. In simple language, what this pattern does is it tells the background of the task that needs to be executed. In the example, we will see if we do not show any, we do not give the context, then the response will be generic. It may not be specifically targeted to what we have in mind. And again, I'm repeating since generative AI or the tool that you are using is not able to understand what we are just thinking until unless we tell via the prompts that we what we want to do. So in this circumstances, what we want to do is we want to supply the context. And within that context, the response that will be generated by the generative AI or the chat GPT will be more fine-tuned to our liking. So coming to the contextual statements for this pattern, we will say to the LLM, whichever we are using, that within the scope of X, please consider Y. So we'll tell that on the boundary, this is a bigger boundary. Out of that boundary, you consider only the narrow portion. And you can also say, do not consider Y. If you are not sure what to consider, you can say, do not consider this. That is also that removing this from the total set, whatever remains, you give your responses based on that. Okay. And optional is if you want to include everything else that you've excluded, you can say start over. Then there's no need to start a new chat. Within the same chat also, those things to get you excluded will also get included back and then responses will be adjusted henceforth. So let us see the example. I'm going to your usual chat GPT screen. So I've taken a liberty to do some of the basic prompting to keep this video short. I have not given the context for the first part to show that the response is generic enough. Because I'm a marketing faculty, so I've taken the liberty to ask in my own domain so that I can verify the answer is right or wrong. I have asked GPT to explain in very simple terms that what explain what is marketing is. Okay. Then it has generated a response. It is a standard definition, more or less. It is taken the definition from the marketing management book by Philip Kotler et al. And it is says that marketing is the process of understanding, creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers, and in order to meet their needs and drive organizational success. This is a fairly fine definition of marketing. I have no issues with that. But if you recall, if you watch my other videos, I have disclosed that I teach marketing management to healthcare professionals. Because at this point in time, I have not told GPT that I teach marketing to healthcare professionals. So the response of explaining what marketing is is very fairly generic term. But for my healthcare professionals who are doctors, and this response they may be able to relate to a certain extent, but the it will be higher likelihood for them to relate if I give them a definition of marketing in their own context. So what I have done is I have moved and I have framed this new prompt, and I'm saying that I'm a marketing professor. I'm telling GPT what the context is. I'm a professor of marketing. I Please avoid I teaching marketing. That's a language site error, but GPT will understand. I will not correct it so that people who are seeing this video later point in time can see. Even if you make some grammatical errors, there's no harm in that. GPT will understand the broader context. Okay. So just read it as I teach marketing to healthcare professionals. The class mainly consists of doctors of Indian origin. They have 3 or more years of work experience. So this part is giving the GPT the context. It is supplying the context about the task that needs to be executed. Now I'm asking it to explain what marketing is. So all the previous two, three sentences that are written are supplying the context, and now here the task is. Now let us see how the output is generated. So it has given me, thanks Achin, because it has learned my name, that thanks Achin, given your audience doctors of Indian origin with several years of work experience, so on and so forth. If you start reading from this part, you will see that what marketing is for healthcare professionals. It is will explain marketing in terms that is more friendly for healthcare professionals. And now, as you see the definition, that marketing is the science and art of creating value, not for customers, but this time it becomes for your patients, your practice, and your professional reputation. It involves understanding people's needs, designing appropriate solutions, and communicating them in a way that builds trust and drives action. So the previous definition, if I go back, was pretty generic enough. It was using words like understanding, creating, communicating, delivering value to customers in order to meet their needs and drive organizational success. So needs, value are the key terms that are inherent of marketing definitions. So it has retained those key terms that marketing is still an art and science and art of creating value. But for customers, it's not replaced by patients and your practice and your professional reputation. It involves understanding people's needs, designing appropriate solutions, communicating them in a way that builds trust and drive action, and so on and so forth as we move down. So whenever it is trying to explain, it is giving all the explanation of marketing terms in healthcare context. Like you see the example of, let us take communications and trust. So it says that marketing isn't just advertising, it's building credibility and communicating clearly. Further, it adds, in healthcare, in healthcare, trust is everything. Good marketing communicates your value ethically and transparently. So I hope the people who are watching this video can understand and appreciate the importance of supplying the context. Because once the context is supplied to GPT, the outputs that will come will be more targeted or more focused to the task in hand rather than being generic uh, in their language. So I hope the learners have taken some good points out of this video, and I will meet you soon in the next video with the next pattern in line, that will be ethical guardrail pattern. And if you have any doubts or any observations, please feel free to put down in your comments. And I will see you again in the next session, in the next video very soon. Thank you for your time. Have a good day ahead.